He went to pick up his daughter from college like any other day, but when he saw a black woman standing beside her, he froze. What happened next changed everything he thought he knew. Richard Morgan, a wealthy businessman in his late 50s, had always been a protective father to his only daughter, Emily. That Friday afternoon, he decided to personally pick her up from her college after weeks of not seeing her. Driving his sleek black Mercedes into the parking lot, he smiled, imagining her running towards him. The autumn sun cast a golden glow over the campus, and students bustled about, laughing and chatting. But as he scanned the crowd, his smile slowly faded. Emily wasn't alone. Walking right beside her was a tall, confident black woman, dressed simply but with an unmistakable air of dignity. Richard froze in place, his mind racing with questions. Who was she? And why was Emily holding her hand so tightly? Emily's eyes lit up as she spotted her father and waved excitedly. But the black woman didn't seem to notice him at first. Her focus was entirely on Emily, speaking softly to her. Richard felt a strange mix of curiosity and unease. It wasn't about race, at least that's what he told himself, but there was something deeply mysterious in the woman's expression. She looked both protective and proud, almost like a mother guarding her child. When it finally reached the car, Emily quickly introduced them. "Dad, this is Angela. She's someone very important to me." Angela extended her hand with a warm smile, but Richard hesitated for a split second before shaking it. Her grip was firm, and her gaze was steady. It was as if she already knew him. The car ride started awkwardly. Richard tried to make polite conversation, but Emily kept glancing at Angela for approval before answering. Angela, meanwhile, seemed calm and observant, choosing her words carefully. Richard couldn't shake the feeling that she carried a story, one that was somehow connected to his daughter. At one point, Emily leaned forward. "Dad, Angela has been helping me with something really important." Richard's eyebrows raised. "Helping you? With what?" Angela smiled faintly. "We'll explain, but I think it's best if we stop for coffee first." Her tone was gentle, yet oddly authoritative. Richard, confused, agreed. They stopped at a quiet cafe near the campus. Emily ordered hot chocolate, Richard his usual espresso, and Angela asked for plain tea. Once seated, Angela began to speak. "Mr. Morgan, I know you don't know me, but I know a lot about you." Richard stiffened. "And how exactly is that?" Angela took a deep breath. "Because years ago, you saved my life without even knowing it." Richard's eyes narrowed in disbelief. Angela continued. 20 years back, you donated a large sum to a struggling community shelter in Brooklyn. That shelter was my home at the time." Richard searched his memory, but couldn't recall the event. Angela's voice grew softer. "If it weren't for you, I wouldn't have survived those years." Richard was stunned into silence. He remembered donating to several causes during his early business years, but never considered how deeply those acts could touch individual lives. Emily reached across the table, placing her hand on his. "Dad, Angela has been mentoring me for the past few months," she said gently. Richard blinked. "Mentoring you? Why didn't you tell me?" Emily looked down. "I wanted it to be a surprise. Angela has been teaching me about resilience, kindness, and the value of giving without expecting anything back." Angela smiled. "Your daughter is remarkable, Mr. Morgan. She's helping raise funds for underprivileged students, something you inspired without even knowing it." Richard felt a lump in his throat. This woman beside his daughter wasn't a stranger. She was living proof of his past kindness. And now, she was shaping Emily's future. The conversation turned emotional. Richard asked Angela to share more about her journey. She told him about her struggles growing up, her battles with poverty, and how education had been her salvation. "People saw me as just a cleaner, just someone invisible," she said softly. "But I knew I was more than that. I kept pushing, studying, and working." Emily listened intently, clearly inspired by every word. Richard, who had always prided himself on building his empire from scratch, realized Angela's climb had been far steeper. It humbled him. She wasn't just someone from his daughter's life. She was a role model, and he suddenly felt ashamed of the doubt he had when first seeing her. Angela revealed that she now worked part-time as a college cleaner to stay close to students who needed guidance. "It's not about the job," she explained. "It's about being present where I can make a difference." Richard admired her selflessness. Emily explained that she had been helping Angela organize charity events for students who couldn't afford books or meals. "I wanted to do something that mattered, Dad, and Angela showed me how." Richard leaned back, taking it all in. In his mind, Angela had gone from mysterious stranger to one of the most remarkable people he had ever met. For years, he had measured worth by wealth and success. Angela measured it by lives touched. After the cafe meeting, Richard insisted on driving Angela home. She lived in a modest apartment on the outskirts of town. On the way, they laughed and talked like old friends. Richard realized how wrong his initial assumptions had been. When they arrived, Angela thanked him. "Mr. Morgan, you gave me a second chance years ago. I'm just returning the favor by guiding your daughter." Richard's chest tightened with emotion. This woman had not only helped his daughter grow, but had unknowingly bridged a gap in his own heart. It was a connection beyond wealth, beyond status, built entirely on humanity. As they said goodbye, Richard felt a deep sense of gratitude. The next week, Richard visited Emily's college again, this time to attend one of Angela's charity events. He watched as students lined up for supplies, meals, and encouragement. Angela moved through the crowd like a beam of light, greeting everyone by name. Richard quietly donated a significant amount to the cause, but this time it wasn't for recognition. It was because he had learned from Angela that true giving asks for nothing in return. Emily hugged him tightly. "I'm proud of you, Dad." Richard smiled. "I think I'm the one who's proud of you and of Angela." He realized his daughter was in good hands. Better than good. In hands that understood the value of every soul. And that was priceless. Months later, Richard often thought back to the day he froze in the college parking lot. What had begun as a moment of surprise had turned into one of the most meaningful connections of his life. Angela became like family, joining them for holidays and celebrations. Emily thrived under her mentorship, growing into a compassionate leader. Richard found himself seeking Angela's advice on life more than business. He understood now that success wasn't measured in profits, but in the people you uplift. The image of Emily holding Angela's hand that first day stayed in his mind. It symbolized trust, guidance, and a bond unshaken by appearances. And Richard knew one thing for certain. That moment he froze was the beginning of something extraordinary, something his heart would treasure forever.